Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to Philly Eagles Therapy. I'm Basil,
And I'm Baz.
and as you can probably tell by our voices, we are beat, we are tired, we are stressed, we are calming down, but Dad, we are pretty sore, aren't we?
Yes, it was great. Wonderful night. Good game. It was the little bit of here, a little bit of there, but I mean, we won the game. And that's all that matters in week one. You win
Yeah,
the game. That's it.
that's true. No, 100%. I have that down in my bottom line. I have a win as a win. And I mean, that's really the biggest thing that we can say about this game. As we were at Rhino Sports and Spirits, we had a great time with the Philadelphia Eagles fan club of Colorado Springs. 97 fans, I think I heard was the
That's right.
count from our
It,
official Philly
yes.
Eagles therapy counter, David. So thank you, David.
Yes, he
Um,
did.
but no, it was great. We got to see everybody again, and we got to escape with a win. And escape is the correct word there, Dad.
It's true. And it's funny because 20 to 21, 20 at halftime, 24,
Correct.
20 total. They did
Yes.
not score any points in the second half. And if you look at that Dak statistics, he barely threw anything in the second half.
Yeah.
They benefited from a couple weird calls. They had a bad pass interference penalty on us. I just think there was a lot of weird things happening. It's a week one thing. So
Yes. Yeah. That's 100% what's going to happen. Like you said, it's a week one game. You're always going to have these hard entrances. We remember we were sitting in the exact same spot that we were last year when we played week one against the Packers. And in that game, Jalen had, two picks and one fumble, actually two fumbles, but one was lost. And that game felt like the end of the world. We ended up winning and led us on to a Super Bowl. So
that's
you
right.
got to take the good with the bad or the bad with the good in this
Yes,
case,
you
in this
do.
situation. As my voice cracks because I'm
Yes,
man, I'm destroyed. But no, we had
yeah,
a great time and a win is a win. But let's get into it, Dad. So
sure.
as we get into the summary, let's start off with, let's start from the very beginning. A very good place to start. Um, one of the strangest beginnings to a game, really, probably in NFL history.
Yes.
You could quote it really saying on the opening kickoff, guy goes down, most likely with a season-ending injury. We'll talk about Ben Van Sumeren in a little bit,
Most
but
likely.
then he's got to get carted off, and then you see a flag on the field. You're like, well, the kickoff was 3 minutes ago. How is there a flag on the field? Like, what happened?
Yes.
And then you hear, we're in the bar. It's very loud. You can't really always hear the announcers, which I like sometimes because Chris Collinsworth is one of the worst human beings in the world. So I enjoy not listening to them very much. But you
Yeah.
kind of hear someone say the game, like something done to the game. And I'm like, the game? Like, wait, what are they saying? Did they just eject him? And I'm like, that's not
Yes.
possible. That can't be possible. What could you
Right.
do to get ejected
Yes.
that quick? Like you could swing on a guy and you wouldn't get ejected that quick.
I agree. I
I mean, I
agree.
guess you can, but I don't know. But I'm just like, what? And they show him walking off the field, and he's just in disbelief. And I mean, Dad, we saw the video. Unfortunately, it's can't do it. It's one of the stupidest things I've seen a player do,
Yes.
especially before a game even starts. Really, I guess you could say the kickoff's the first play, but dude,
Yes.
before the game even starts, I know we later received some footage which changes things,
Yes.
but still, got to be one of the dumbest things I've seen a player do.
Yes, it is. And something that we can have him do. We've had issues in the past. Last year we had Sirianni going after him, and his Flynn Hurd kind of said, "Stop, let's all take care of it." Well,
Yeah,
this is something that you can't do. And as debilitating as it was for Micah Parsons to be leaving the team 5 days before the season, to
yeah,
lose Jalen Carter in the first play of the game when he's not even on the field, and he shouldn't even be on the field. He should be on the sidelines waiting for the player to get carted off. There
I
should
agree.
be no interaction between the teams. I don't understand it. Coach should be taking care of this. It was idiotic. And I'm telling you, I told a lot of people at the bar tonight, which was really awesome. Met a lot of new people, hopefully, some people that are going to be watching this podcast.
Yeah,
And I told them, we might not have to pay 40 million a year now for Jalen Carter. We might have to pay, he might have lost 12 or 14 million dollars tonight by
yeah,
being that playing that player because they could say, hey, look, you got kicked out of a game. We had trouble with you before. You can't do that. And we're going to give you 32 million a year, not
yeah.
40. So in a way, we win the game. He's back next week. Maybe he might get
I,
suspended.
you
He
know,
might get suspended because
I,
there's
I
this
think you
new
will.
thing. It's
Yeah,
very
no,
possible. But when we saw the footage later that he was actually spat at,
mhm.
and then that same person was on the sidelines joking with his teammates about the fact that he
Yeah,
did spat at him.
yep,
Thank God it only took him 3 hours to show us that footage, but
yeah.
at
A
least
whole
they got it
delay.
out. At least they
No, I
got it out.
agree. I agree. And again, for the fans who are going, oh, but we both agree. He shouldn't have done it. It's unacceptable. It's stupid.
No.
It's
Yes.
moronic. But that footage is very important that was released because that could
That's it.
change everything. That could make a
Yes.
2, 3 game suspension into a 1 game suspension and a mild fine because
Yes.
that guy spat at him first. And
Right.
again, I'm not saying
Yes.
then that's okay that he did it. No, it's not.
Right.
But
No,
that
it's
does
not.
change things. It's a very different narrative when that
Well, how
happens.
many times tonight do we see you were saying, get away, stop
Oh, I had
pushing,
to keep screaming it.
you know,
That's why my voice is gone.
yes.
I wasn't really yelling at the game as much
Yeah.
as I was yelling after a play. Get the bleep off the
Yes. Get
field.
off
I
the
just
field. Yeah.
can't
I guess
believe.
we need I guess we need Fletcher Cox back because he was the only one that would grab a player and say, "Get
Yes.
off the field. We don't need
Yeah.
you doing that right now because this is stupid." I think there needs to be a little bit of the coach has to intervene and say, "Look, that can't happen. If it does, you're
Yeah.
off the field. I don't
I
care
mean,
if you're one of the big players. We need you to stop doing that stuff because there was probably 3 or 4 or 5 different times that we had players in scrums, and luckily one
yeah.
time it was in a kickoff we had a player that grabbed a helmet, but they got 2 penalties on them, thankfully. I mean,
Yeah.
but very odd game. All that scoring that happened in the first half. And in the second half, there was one field goal, 3 points, and we couldn't move the ball at all late in the second half. It was awful.
It was really tough to watch towards the end of the game, like you
But
say.
it's a week one thing. So let's just wipe that
That's
slate
true.
clean. Take the W. You know who we beat, right? We beat the
Yeah.
Cowboys.
Yeah. And
So
this is
now,
something that I told my coworker, he's a big Cowboys fan. When we first found out the Cowboys were playing the Eagles to start the season, I remember being like, I don't love that. Not because, I think we'll lose, but because division game first week, that's a big deal. No one's at their best. No
right.
one starts off, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
except for our offense early on and their offense early on, but no
Yes.
one's at their best. And I'm like, I don't like going into that important of a game that early in the season. You know what
Right.
I mean? And you
Right.
can't avoid it. Sometimes it just happens, and that's the way it is. But thankfully, you walk away with a win this time. And man,
Yeah.
just what a stressful game. But
The biggest regret I have is the fact that they didn't have Ty Robinson up, so we couldn't see what he's going to do in the
yeah,
pros.
true.
Ojomo and Jordan Davis played phenomenally. They
Uh,
they 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 played a lot of snaps. There was a few good plays. They got held a few times. Davis made a few plays, but we didn't get any sacks. We
yeah, I
did have
thought.
a fumble.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought Davis played well. Jomo was a tad bit underwhelming from all the words we heard about, from the
Yeah,
preseason and the training camp about him being great. This is why I hate training camp reports
right,
because the big thing was, oh, he's the best player in the world, and
right.
I didn't think he did much at all. I know the game
Yeah,
shifted and changed when
yes,
your best player on defense leaves the
right.
game before the game starts.
That game plans everything out of the
Obviously,
play.
correct, and obviously we know Jalen Carter. We talked about it in the pregame, the matchups that he lines up against the right guard, and that was the rookie. And now today, Moro Ojomo had to go against the right guard now, and
Right.
that's just a different. He's supposed to play the left side opposite Carter, that
Yes,
and that had to
yes.
change. No excuses there. You just got
Right.
to be smarter and you got to be better.
And we only
But
had a few defensive linemen up. Like we didn't
yeah,
have a full complement of it. Especially if they knew what they knew now, they would have had an extra lineman, defensive
oh,
lineman up
definitely,
there. But
definitely,
defensive ends didn't seem to be. There was a
dude.
few
What a horrible
plays,
game. Yeah, horrible,
few
horrible.
few
I thought it
plays
was
for
terrible.
Nolan Smith, but not
Yeah,
many.
they
There
got
was
in their
some
face a
pressure,
bit.
couple pressures, but not what we need. We need sacks.
Yeah,
Jordan Davis had him in his hands once and let him get away. That one hurt because he ended up throwing a nice pass to CD. But again, I just think the biggest takeaway tonight is the fact that they won the game. The
yes,
offense scored a touchdown in the first quarter in the first game of the season, not the fifth game of the season or the
yeah,
seventh game,
that's
whatever
true.
we had to deal with last season.
Last year,
Offense looked good, but then again, you got to go. AJ Brown barely had any plays. Barkley 3.3 yards a carry. He had some good carries early, but then late it kind of dried up. Maybe the
yeah.
fact that they got rid of Parsons and brought in Clark did change the defensive line, but Dickerson ended up getting a little bit banged up and he had to leave the game. Just that's
Yeah.
what
Well,
happens.
let's
That's what
go
happens.
into a summary. Let's get into a summary
It's
here because
okay.
we're jumping around too much.
I know.
First
That's
of
what I
all, I
do.
want to let everybody know I'll never wear my Jalen Carter jersey ever again. Don't worry about that. That's my fault. I'm sorry to everybody. I will never wear my Jalen Carter jersey to start a game ever again. I took it off the moment he left the game and it was on the ground. And I know people will say you can't do that, but it had to be there. It deserved to be there. That's
Right.
what I had to do. I wrote, I can't fathom what just happened after that happened. Now, obviously, you can tell everybody my reaction. It was unbelievable. I for 10 minutes straight, I couldn't. I thought we were going to lose the game. I was just like,
Yes,
that's
you
it.
did.
Like it's
Yes, you
over.
did.
That's it. And I was
Yeah.
almost right because the defense couldn't do anything after that point. But
Not in that
my
first
gosh,
half. Not
my
in that
gosh.
first
Okay,
half.
let's break this down. So we kick off the ball to them. Not a great kick return, which is good for us because they got that great kick returner. The penalty happens. Carter's gone, 15-yard penalty. And then 5 plays, 53 yards. Cowboys go down and score a touchdown with
Yes, they
behind
did.
Javonte Williams, who had 2 touchdowns on the day.
Yes, he did.
And it's like right away, it's like that's when I was just like, we're gonna lose. Like that's not even just losing that player of that caliber, but this is the biggest gut punch to a defense ever. Like
Yeah.
this is just like, hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, your best player's not playing, so good
Right.
luck. Like that's that. Oh my God, I was like,
Yeah.
how are we going to recover from this? Thankfully, we do. Jalen Hurts has a great first half, great first 3 quarters
Agreed.
until the delay, and he caps off a 70-yard, 10-play drive with a 4-yard touchdown rush.
Yes. But it was great to see. It didn't look good there for a bit. We could not move the ball at all. We got the fumble. Miles Sanders fumbled for us, which was grand. We kind of had a feeling
That's a
that
little
might
bit later,
happen.
so it's a little bit
Yeah,
later.
I know,
So
but still, it's just funny that just the way they played early was great. But we were down behind the whole time until
yeah,
at one point late in the first half we scored that touchdown.
yeah. So Cowboys get the ball back. They have another great 9-play, 88-yard drive. They punch in a touchdown with Javonte Williams from the 1-yard line again with the beginning of the second quarter. And you're just like, oh my God, like this, we're going to have to win a shootout, which you
Yes,
and me, we predicted the game score. We thought 31-14, 31-13. I still believed that up until the kickoff, until Jalen Carter was gone.
right, right.
Yeah.
Just can't
Then
happen. It just
I
can't do
just
that.
can't, it cannot happen.
Mm-mm.
Thank God Jake Elliott leads us again, goes down, takes us down the field on a 12-play, 65-yard drive, and 8-yard rushing touchdown, which was awesome. I mean,
Right.
really, probably the high point of the game, aside from the win. That was just so good.
Yeah.
The run was incredible. He played so well in the first half, Dad. I mean,
Yeah,
so
he did.
well. Second half, you don't want to use excuses, but you think, okay, well, maybe the delay that throws everybody off. Even
Sure.
the Cowboys got thrown off by that.
Yes, it
And
did.
you're just like, oh my God. But dude, first half, I thought he was incredible.
He was incredible. He was great. I don't know how many he finished with 152. I don't know what he had in the
Yeah.
first half.
Oh
It
yeah, I'm
wasn't
not
much
too
in the
sure.
second half, that's for sure.
No, that's true.
No, no.
On the ground, he had 14 rushes for 62 yards. Now that gets ruined by 3 kneel downs at the end of the game.
Right.
So that's what 11 rushes for 65 yards. You would guess
Right.
if it's
6
a
yards a
yard loss.
carry.
Correct. Yeah, which I thought was phenomenal and 2 touchdowns. Dude, I thought he played so great in the first half. Like I was
He
blown
did.
away. I was blown
Yeah.
away. The Eagles defense finally comes up with a stop. The Cowboys drive down, but a good play that Dak throws the ball a little bit too far. Quinion has some pretty good coverage. Thankfully, they didn't call any pass interference, which would have been BS at that point.
Yeah, there's a couple bad ones.
That thing was out of bounds, and
Yes.
they come up with a field goal, 17-14. Eagles go down and score less than a minute and a half, and Saquon Barkley has really a great rushing touchdown. But I will say this really made me angry. I got
Yeah.
some responses on the Facebook page because I was like, why did he not go down at the 1-yard line?
Right.
I mean, it was 51 seconds left. I'm like, go down the one, go down the one, don't go in because we
Right.
got 3 timeouts.
Yes.
Tush push, tush push, tush push.
Right.
Let's run some
Right.
clock here. I mean,
Yeah.
and I know the tush push wasn't going for 2 yards or one
It
and a half
wasn't.
yards every
Yeah.
time, but you gotta. At that point, we didn't know it would have been the first
Yeah.
time, so
Yeah.
I thought he really should have gone down to one because then the Cowboys get the ball back and they're able to get in field goal range.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
I
there
was
was
just
what
like, "You
that
be
one
kidding me?"
pass interference they called. Then there was another the play Malone Smith laid, I believe, was a taunting penalty. Was that how they got the other 15-yarder?
I
Was
believe
that
so.
it?
That was
And that
so bad.
yeah.
Oh my God, that was so
I
bad.
first of all, I thought that was a really terrible call by the referees. I mean, he didn't, he stood over him for a second. He didn't taunt him, but again, bad play. You can't do that. And I
Yeah,
just don't know what was happening to these guys in the first half. Quit doing that nonsense.
yeah.
Quit playing
I
these
think
games.
I think on the field goal drive they had the 9-yard penalty because of the Jacorian Bennett had a pass interference, which I thought was really terrible too.
Hand on
And
back or
then
whatever. Yeah,
they had a roughing the passer on Dak, which was Nolan
that's it.
Smith.
That's it. That's
And
it.
and
That's
I
the
and
one.
we've come out and said anytime you hit a quarterback in the face, it should be a roughing. but sometimes it's like he's getting blocked.
If you're being engaged, if you're engaged,
He's
yes.
getting blocked. He's like this. He's like this. Come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
it's tough. You can't have both
Yeah.
sides of it, but that's the way it is, unfortunately.
There was a couple penalties in that game that I just thought were little too, I don't know, ticky tack, stupid,
Yeah.
bad. I mean, the pass interference, which was the bad one on cue, was he grabbed the guy for 5 minutes, so that was
Oh yeah,
bad.
that was
But the
terrible.
other one that was a 2nd and 23, I just thought it was, kind of a bad call. But I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to do it. But we had way more penalties than they did, so that's
Yeah,
another situation.
that's you're playing. Excuses. You're playing the Cowboys. We
Yeah,
all know that's the world. It doesn't matter if the game's in Philly, if the game's in Dallas.
yeah, just
You
don't do it.
can't you can't have any even. Oh, is that a
Yes,
penalty? Because
right.
they will throw that. They protect the
Agreed.
star. That's the point of the NFL is they want to make money. So you
No,
have
I
to
thought
remember that
Adoree
always.
Jackson was just getting burned and burned
So
and burned.
let's take time to talk about that because I mean, basically nothing happens for the rest of the game as far as scoring.
Right.
Dad, what's the solution here? I mean, I said to you, I'd rather Keely Ringo go out there because younger,
Right.
faster, healthier.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, this is that cannot. I don't think that guy can happen. That guy can't go
No,
back out there.
no.
I mean, that
And I'm
can't happen.
hoping it's just week one type situation. But yeah,
Yes.
Jacorian Bennett, hopefully he gets another 10 days now before the next game. He gets some time to work on it and move him out there because he seemed to play and he made some plays. He had that one penalty on him, but that was kind of the hand on back type situation. And you can't do that. We know that. So I thought it was a little ticky tack, but Dory Jackson just, CeeDee Lamb was just wide open. It was just wide open. And you can't have that. The fact that we had no interior push was killing us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just rough all around. But again, I think I have to just say, the fact that we won the game and it's the first week of the season, and you got the whole, even though the guys weren't out there for the flag and the whole celebration of the Super Bowl, a little bit of the hangover stuff. Um, I just think, the fact that they got past it and now they can hopefully settle in and start playing a little bit better. But yeah, Adoree Jackson, I think
I don't know,
kind of
man.
showed us that he's not ready to play in this league
I just don't.
anymore.
I don't know
Yeah.
what you can do. I just don't know what the
I
solution is
mean,
there.
even Q struggled a little bit, right?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
Cooper was kind of non-existent, really. And
Yeah.
luckily, Blankenship, there was that one that we almost had two tipped balls. Remember, I talked about that in preview. We got to make those catches on those tip balls. Byron Young dropped one that was really right there, and that was a huge play. We just got to make these turnovers. There was a couple tip balls that could have been handled, and even Q, what didn't Q have one go through his hands right there,
Yeah.
kind
That
of late?
was. Yeah. No,
You got to make the catch.
I really did think I really thought that these guys, both Q and Cooper, I thought this was one of their worst games of their career so far.
Yeah.
I really did. I maybe people will say, oh, last year that no, I really thought this was one of the worst games of both of their careers. Thankfully, they're still young and everything like that. But
Yeah.
man, I thought Q was getting worked. And
He was.
it's one of the best receivers in the league. I always say CeeDee
Yeah.
Lamb's top three. I think he's
Right.
number I think he's the best wide receiver in the league.
I
So
agree.
you expect that sort of stuff to happen, but man, they really struggled. Even late in the game, CeeDee Lamb dropped two catches,
Yes, he
dropped two
did.
passes, and
Yes.
those weren't great coverage. So you get really lucky there, I guess
And
you would
and there
say.
was and there was a third one he dove and they think he might have had a concussion and that was another bad throw. But you can't have Dak in the pocket. He can't stand it. You can't let him do that. You got to move him off his mark. He
Yeah,
can still make throws on the run, but you could tell that one time, I think one or two times we had him moving around the Davis sack that should have been, but wasn't. But
yeah,
the guy can throw the ball. So I mean, but some of that he was wide open. CeeDee Lamb was wide open a few times. There was one Pickens catch he made. He was covered really well by, I think it was Jacorian Bennett, but
yes,
he was right on him, but he still caught the ball. But that's going to happen. But yeah, it was.
yep,
I think I forget what Lamb finished with. I think at 100, like right after the third quarter started. Dak only threw for 188. So
yeah. So let's talk about the third quarter. So we open up the third quarter with a drive down to kick a field goal, go up 24-20. Probably, truthfully, the under the nest play of the game. One play that was kind of probably forgotten. 58-yard field goal by Jake Elliott, and it's right down the middle.
beautiful. That was
Yeah,
beautiful. And made the extra points, of course. But yeah, I thought they were nuts for trying to kick that field goal. I
I
don't know
know.
about you, but I thought you're going to miss the field goal. You're going to give him the ball at the 50-yard line, the 52-yard or whatever. And he banged that thing. So
Yeah.
maybe Jake DeMake is back. I mean,
Yeah.
let's go, and the weather, maybe it wasn't raining at the time, but it's humid and it had been raining. And, I just couldn't believe they kicked it. And, they're Sirianni, just playing the odds and playing the gambler again, just going for it. So,
Yeah. And let's talk about now, like kind of the biggest play of the, sorry, game of the, oh my gosh, drive of the game. The Cowboys in the third quarter, right after we kick a field goal, they start driving down. They get a nice couple runs to get a first down, and then they get a big run by our good old friend Miles Sanders.
yes.
Gets a 49-yard run, and thank God that we have a player named Zach Bond, who I thought struggled at times in the game, but really makes the play of the game. I know we force a fumble a couple plays later, but
Yes.
he stops him from scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then a few plays later, there's a penalty, there's another penalty, there's a uh, uh, what is it? Unnecessary, not unnecessary roughness, but what would they call it? Personal foul. Yeah, it's unnecessary roughness. And then the fumble in the next play, Miles Sanders, our good old friend, like I said, coughs up the ball because of our nice rookie linebacker Jahad Campbell,
That's right.
and
Great
Q
play.
recovers the ball and changed the game. Unfortunately, then the delay began, so the momentum didn't get to
Yeah.
carry on, and that happened a lot in this game. It felt
Yeah.
like we kept on getting some momentum and then a flag, getting some
Yeah.
momentum
Yep.
and an incomplete, getting something
Yeah.
and then this and then a delay. So take me through your
Yeah.
thoughts on that drive and how
Well,
the
I think,
delay influenced the
yeah,
game.
the delay after the fumble that he had, which was really the play of the game. I mean, you have to, if we don't get that ball, they score a touchdown, and who knows what happens the rest of the game, because it just seemed like later, third and fourth quarter, we just could not run the ball more than 2 yards, not even. And it just seemed to me like, I don't know, it wasn't really the play calling, but it was just the way things, we kept running it right up the gut. I wanted an outside run. I know you were like,
Hey,
well, don't
just
pitch out,
avoiding
but
it.
we just and I thought of maybe an RPO with Hurts fake the handoff and take it out, just sprint it outside. Let's see what we can do. Nothing. I mean, it was just, and it's kind of funny how anticlimactic the ending was, because then we got
Very
the
much
ball
so.
and kind of you go, I looked at you and I went, that's it, that's it.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I know.
they had one timeout right after. Was it Hurts that got the first down, or
Yeah,
was it?
Hurts got a 4-yard scramble, I think, for the first down on
And then a
was it
minute
third and two?
27 left. They called timeout. I said, well,
Yeah,
it's fourth. It's fourth. We have three downs to go.
yeah.
A minute
It's
20. It's done.
it's true. It was one of those
So
games, Dad, where it was so stressful and so intense that at the end of the game, it was like, oh, that's it.
we won. Yeah, I
Exactly.
agree. I
And you're
agree.
like, oh, because we got so what? We got a -1 yard run by Saquon, an 8-yard pass to AJ, his first catch of the game, his first target
Yes.
of the game.
Yes.
And then yeah, on third and three, he scrambles for 4 yards,
Yeah.
and that they call timeout at 129.
Right.
And
And that's
and it's
it.
funny, we're thinking, oh, okay, first down, what next? And then it's like, oh, that's the game. I forgot.
Yeah.
Like I kind of the
Take a
math
knee.
wasn't mathing. I was
Right.
like,
Right.
oh,
Right.
we just won.
Well, I kind of thought we had to do one of those uh, handoffs, run 3 or 4 seconds, get tackled, then 40 seconds. And
For
I
sure. I
thought,
know
but
what you
I'm
mean.
like, no, the math was no, you don't even have to do that. And we actually snapped the ball quickly. If you remember, on third
Yeah.
down, we snapped it with 32 seconds left. And I'm like,
Oh, that's it.
wow, that was
Yeah,
awesome. So,
I know.
again, it's week one. We won the game. We beat the Cowboys. We have beat them 3 times straight now.
That's right.
We're chipping away at that all-time record we've had with
That's
them.
right.
Dak Prescott is now 9-5 against the Eagles. Really, probably 5-5 in games that really counted, but we're not going
I
to
agree.
go there.
There's
But I
numbers to
mean,
it I could talk about later.
it's probably 7. But anyway, it doesn't
Something like
matter.
that.
He didn't look very good. He had some
Yeah,
lanes early, and the two phenomenal back wide receivers they had were okay. I think Pickens finished with 30, and I think CD had maybe 110 total. He looked good, but he dropped 2 balls that were
wow.
huge.
I mean,
You know what I mean, right?
again,
I mean,
and it's funny because he has had that in his past that I've
I think
noticed.
so too.
And again, I'm saying this full, like really saying this. I think he's one of the three best wide receivers in the league.
I agree.
But it is something I've noticed. He
Yeah,
weirdly drops passes. It's weird.
yeah,
It happens
yeah.
out of nowhere. Like, oh, well, he just dropped a pass. Like, what the heck just happened? Like, it just
Yes,
and it's in his hands. Like, not
right.
behind him, not too far.
Right.
he weirdly does that from time to time, and tonight that really came through for us.
And I do think, their defensive line, Dallas's defensive line was good against the run. I mean, but
Well,
again,
not early.
this is
I mean,
not early. It seemed to me like every time we pitched out Barkley, he ran for 10 yards. He
yeah,
had, I think at one point he was doing five plus yards a carry, but he
I
finished
believe so.
but he had 61 yards, he finished with 60, but he lost 4 yards on
Yeah,
that one silly carry that I
those
thought
those
was the
last three or
wrong
four
call,
the
right?
last three or
Yeah.
four drives were really harsh on him.
But again, it
We
was
could
kind of
not get
like
anything going.
ball control, kind of run the clock. I
True.
mean, you could see us. We started running the clock down with about 13 minutes left in the game.
Yeah,
We did get it
it's
down to
true.
like 7 minutes at one point, but then we couldn't get the first down. And of course, you and I were screaming. But I mean, this is the kind of thing that happens week one. There's a lot of sloppy play. There was no interceptions. We didn't have any fumbles. Our punt returner, who I thought did a great job just catching the ball when he had to.
Dotson, yeah.
Shipley did bobble a
Dotson.
kickoff. But yeah, I think you said Shipley might have left the game at one point. I don't
He
know
did. Yeah, I saw
if it
that he was
was.
listed as questionable to return. I don't think they
Hopefully,
brought him
it
back
wasn't
in
a
because
concussion or
it
anything.
was a
Hopefully, it was
rib.
just a.
It was a
Okay,
rib. So we'll
boy,
see what that is.
he had some good runs there too, didn't he? At one point, man,
I agree. Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, let's. And Dylan even had a few good rushes. So,
Yeah.
it's good we have that little confidence in those three running backs. So it
Yeah.
was good. The
Uh,
weird part about this game was the fact that AJ Brown was pretty much, I don't know, maybe his
that's
hamstring is not ready. They did not game plan him at all. He had the one
that's
catch.
yeah. One
It was a
target.
big
I
one.
mean,
It was a big
that's
one.
that's the next thing I was gonna say. I mean, that was unbelievable. I mean, thank God I made it a point. I was like, I'm not gonna draft AJ in fantasy this year. I do every year. I'm not gonna
Right.
do it. Wow. They just it wasn't even like I, I don't know. Like you, how many dropbacks? 23 dropbacks or
19 to 23.
23 passes, pass attempts. So that means what? He got sacked once or twice. So total of no,
Right.
just once. So, but then also a lot of his scrambles were from throw pass attempts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
you're just like, I know they have a good corner in Bland and Diggs. Those are good players. They're good corners.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, you're telling me he's got to be open. Like he's gonna get open
Yeah.
at
Right.
least 7 times. Any
Yeah.
receiver will
I
against
agree.
any great
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
Every great corner gets beat.
It was
That's
odd.
the
Now,
that's
of
the way the
course,
game's played.
the haters are going to say that Hurts only threw for 152 yards. You know what? We won the game.
Won the
We
game.
won the game that I looked at you at one point and said, this is a big win. We
Oh, it is.
gotta win this game. We
Have
gotta
to.
win this game, you know?
Yeah,
So
opening at home against a division rival, a division rival who clearly is going to be better than we expected, probably, unless our defense was just
yeah,
atrocious. Um, really, really
yeah,
big bummer there.
yeah. But I think
Good news is the Dallas defense. I mean, they pulled up in the second half, but God, they were terrible early, so that was
yeah,
great.
yeah. We scored three touchdowns kind of at ease. And it was kind
Yeah,
of, we didn't really have the pucker factor. We were down 7-0, and we were down 14-7. You pretty much kind of felt we could do anything we want to score this
it's true.
touchdown.
It felt like
And
that.
it's funny because every time Hertz ran left, he can't throw on his left, but he runs left, and there's
I know.
nobody there.
I know.
He's nobody there. And I'm like, just take it. You go 10, 15 and slide. I mean, it was kind of like the Super Bowl where he just ran to the left side of the game and nobody was there for 15 yards before he had a slide. So, the guy just knows how to win. That's all that
Yeah.
counts. You know, go ahead.
Let's talk real quick about Jahan Dotson. Um, 3 catches for 59 yards. The 2 catches were basically nothing, but the 1 catch for 51 yards, huge spark,
Huge,
Dad. Huge
gigantic,
spark in the game.
gigantic.
I'm
Yeah.
fairly certain that was on our first drive of the game. Am I wrong there?
And I
I
think you're
am wrong.
correct. It
No,
was
no,
the
I am
second drive.
wrong.
It had to be the
Um,
second drive then.
yeah, it had to have been the second drive. Let me
Yeah.
check real quick.
But what a beautiful pass, of course, right in the and it's funny because when he caught it, I'm like, oh, is that Devontae?
So
No.
that I'm wrong again. It was the third drive of the game
Okay.
for us. Our
Okay.
third drive. So we're down 17-14 at that point, I believe.
Right.
And he's
Yes, we
right.
were.
He catches that huge ball to get us in the chance to go up 21-17, which I mean, obviously was huge because we only won
Yeah.
by 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
We didn't cover the 8.5, but that's the thing. This weekend, tomorrow night game and the Sunday game, these teams are not going to be what you think they're going to be in
It's
another
true.
month.
It's
So
true.
just you should be gambling. No, let's see what was the final score, 24-20. So that was the under, 47
Yeah.
and a half was the I mean, if you're a gambling guy, I would go a lot of these games under, and I would go, point spreads, I would keep it close.
Keep
I
him
mean,
close. It's true.
it's just not going to happen. The only thing that the big fumble by Miles Sanders, and that's one of the reasons he's not on our team anymore because he fumbles the ball.
He
And
does.
they knew
First,
how to knock the ball. That's why when Bond was chasing him from behind, he
he
punched the
was.
ball twice, and then he said, "I'll just tackle him now," because he knows that's what this guy does.
That's
So,
huge.
but yeah,
Huge.
we don't want to disparage on anybody like that. But
No, I
the
agree.
fact that we won the game, I will say this though, was really cool tonight. Just seeing some of the people there, Mike Roman, I said Robert Kushner. There was Robin showed up from Brickenwood. We had, Steve and his family came down. Ben was there.
Of
It
course.
was just great to see, Rico, David, and some of
Ben's
the other guys.
Ben's Cowboys fan wife Lauren wasn't there. What's going
No,
on
she
there?
wasn't. No,
All right, it's all right.
but I mean, it was just kind of cool to see a lot of the people that we've seen,
Yeah,
and it was kind of fun to just talk to them. And uh, some of them stayed, some of them had to go to work tomorrow, so they had to leave, just like you got to go to
yeah.
work tomorrow. So
I
it
know
is
it's gonna be
getting
a tough.
late, but
It's gonna be a
you
tough one.
know, at least if
It's
you
gonna be a
live in
tough one.
Philly, it's like 2 in the morning already. So
I know. I talked to
but
JJ at halftime. It
yeah,
was
yeah,
unbelievable. He's like, dude,
yeah,
it's 11:30 almost. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
right now we're recording. It's 11:25. So
yeah,
thank God we're a few hours behind, or else
yeah.
I would not. I don't know if
Well,
I could ever be an Eagles fan out there, dude. I don't know how they do it, especially
but it was
recording a
kind of,
podcast. No
it was kind
chance.
of cool talking to some of the newer people that were there. It was funny how the group does change every year. Like you said, you had 97 people for the opening game on a Thursday night. So I mean,
Yeah,
who knows what's going to happen Sunday at 11 o'clock when we play? Who knows, the Giants or something like that. We might get 150 people there, but
yeah,
it was a good night, good fun. Glad football's back. I
man.
get to
Me
go
too.
because I don't have to go to work tomorrow. I can go back upstairs now and watch the highlights for a little bit, maybe the first half because
Listen to some podcasts, some post
a
game
little
stuff like
ugly.
that.
Yeah,
Got to
it
do
was
it.
kind of, hey, but it's a win. A win is a win is a win.
Yeah. And
You
look
got
at
to
this.
take.
I just got to point out this. It's just crazy how opposite it was, and they mentioned it after the delay and everything like that. But I just have to point it out. It's just so funny. Game starts. Okay, first quarter. Touchdown Dallas, touchdown Eagles, touchdown Dallas, touchdown Eagles, field goal Dallas, touchdown Eagles, field
Right.
goal Dallas, and that's the first two quarters. You're like, holy crap! And
Yeah.
then third quarter, field goal, fumble, punt, 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 downs, end a game. And it's just it's
Yeah.
such a football is such a tale of two halves. It's
Yes.
not a joke when people say that. It's incredible how quick something can
Well,
change.
it's kind
And
of like this game. We had three half times. We had
yeah,
halftime, and then we had in the third quarter, 4:44 left in the third quarter. The Lightning came.
yeah,
That was like 45 minutes delay. So,
yeah. I thought that was a big bummer, man. I was
oh
like,
yeah,
shoot,
yeah,
this is gonna mess one team up for sure,
yeah,
and it messed both teams up really because that
yeah,
was all that was it. I mean,
yeah,
no points were scored after that delay. We scored
yeah,
our field goal
yeah.
on the first drive of the half.
Right, right.
No points were scored. I mean, it's
And,
crazy. How many
and I
first?
think,
I wish I could look. I got to look and see how many first downs were scored
well,
after
I
that
know
delay.
this
I
much.
mean,
At one point, it was nine first downs to nine first downs. We had nine, they had nine in the first
okay,
quarter, obviously, first half, maybe. In that second half, I mean, we were cursing our defense a little bit. I know we were a little bit
it was
rough
bad.
on we were rough on the beef tonight, but I think they made some stops, right? I mean,
Yeah, they
two
did.
or three stops, which I really it didn't seem like they were going to have any, and they ended up getting the two or three. So,
I mean, I just said. I mean, what did I just say? The how many punts did I say they had?
oh,
You
that
know what I
sounded like
mean?
five or
Like,
six to me.
and none of those were in the first half. So I mean, Dallas
Yeah.
punted. I got the punter right here. Only two punts, but also a fumble, a turnover on downs. I
Right.
mean, that's so big, so
And
big.
again, we got to mention Braden Mann, who another had a few big
Great.
boots, put
Yes,
him at the
agreed.
12-yard line and the 18-yard
17,
line.
18. Yeah.
So, I
No.
mean, I was telling Rico this, he's like, oh, you got to get inside the 10. No, get it inside the 20. If you get it inside the 15, you're winning.
Yeah.
That's huge,
Yeah.
especially in that type of game where it just seemed like they couldn't run, then they could run, and then they couldn't run. So we
Yeah.
were kind of getting them in 3rd and 7,
Nope.
and I mean
Yep.
that's really what it was. And hopefully with Carter back next week and some of the I was disappointed again, like you said,
I
for
don't know.
Robinson not to be brought up. I think we're going to have to bring up a couple of guys. I don't even know if Gabe Hall played. I mean, this is
He did.
where
I
I
saw him,
got to
but
see some stuff.
yeah.
All I saw
Aziz
was
Ojala.
Davis. I saw Davis, and I saw Moro Jomo. That's all I saw.
Yeah. Aziz Ojolari
Byron
was
Young.
also Aziz Ojolari was also a healthy scratch, didn't play at all. Could have used another edge.
Yes,
I
yes.
mean,
So
it was
now
God, the pressure
Uche,
was bad.
Zero, right?
Yeah, yeah, number
He did
zero.
have
I thought he
he
had
did
some
have
plays.
one
I did.
penetration that I
I
remember
agree.
seeing.
And can I real quick say for
Yes,
any Eagles fans, this is why Jalen Hunt needed to play in the preseason.
agree.
I thought he had some good plays. I'm not saying he played bad,
He
but
did.
they've been talking about him like, oh, he could be Micah Parsons. He needed to play in the preseason,
I
and he
agree.
might need to play in next preseason depending on what happens this
Yeah,
year
yeah.
because
You got it.
that was I'm very disappointed in what
Yeah,
I saw out
yeah,
there from the defensive line in total.
yeah.
Again, Carter's gone. Usually two guys are devoted to that one guy, and that changed
Right.
everything.
It
But
does.
still, you got to
Yes.
be better than that. That was terrible.
But I
It was
mean,
really,
again,
really bad defensive line
yeah.
game, dude.
When
So
when we
bad,
lost when we lost Carter, obviously I was just as upset as you, maybe not as upset because I didn't throw anything through the window and
dude.
I didn't almost break a
I,
chair. But
no, that
at the
was
same
later,
time, at the same time, um, I knew it was going to be a struggle. And I when you had told me that they didn't have Robinson up there, and I thought we're short defensive linemen now. I mean, you can't that's huge. And I
yeah.
was really surprised that he wasn't brought up. I know he's a rookie and all
The
that
fourth
stuff,
round
but
pick, though. I mean,
I just bring him up. Let's see.
I know.
And now the fact that we lost Ben Sumer, and maybe I hope maybe
Yeah.
that fullback thing is over with. We talked about that as well, but that's
Yeah,
something to see down the line.
yeah, and we only got like 2 minutes left, so I got to hustle
Yes,
this up. But yeah, Ben Van
right,
Sumeren,
right.
I think it is the fullback thing might need to end because
Yeah,
instead of having a fullback out there who got hurt and now that position's gone and that player's gone, you
right.
could have had an extra defensive lineman or a defensive end.
Yes, yes.
I,
And
that's a big deal, huge
and I
deal.
believe at one point they used Grayson.
Yeah, Kylan Granson,
Did
he was active
great
at fullback.
job. He did a good job blocking. So I
Yep,
mean, if that's what you got to do, but I think the fullback experience experiment is probably seen its better days. And
yeah,
it's I think the three running backs we have, Dylan, I
yeah.
thought
I
had
love
a
it.
few good runs. Shipley is amazing. I think we can really utilize him in the pass game. He made a great play, almost scored a touchdown there on one play.
Yeah,
And maybe not run him up the gut. That's the he's kind of
yeah.
small for that, and he didn't get far.
All right, let's start wrapping things up real quick
Sure.
before we go. Let's talk about just the injuries, like you mentioned. Will Shipley looks like he went out. Landon Dickerson went out, and Ben Van Sumeren are the three big injuries that we
Right.
saw. Hopefully, everyone's good. Ben
Yeah.
Van Sumeren carted off, doesn't seem
Yeah.
good at all.
But
But
Dickerson
like
was
you mentioned,
back, so it wasn't knee. So it's not that.
that's
It's
great
just the
news.
back.
Yes, yeah,
And I think he had the back earlier in the week. So now he's got what 10 days off for Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
yeah,
And so he's got, and it's a late game Sunday. So he's got 10 days to get ready.
it's true.
Obviously, they're going to fly to Kansas City. But
Yeah,
anyway, so he's got some days to get rested
yeah,
and look at some tape and see what happened. And Brett Toth wasn't awful. He was
yeah.
okay. I
Nothing really
mean,
happened
the
while he was in the
defensive
game
line
because, but
they weren't really blocking well. I thought Steen did okay. I need to watch it so
yeah.
see how Steen did, but moving the
All right,
ball early, he
we
looked
got a
good.
minute left, so we got to hustle on this. Let's say our
Okay,
goodbyes. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok if you like Philly Eagles Therapy. Do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and comment down below your thoughts on the game. How stressed were you? How happy were you? How mad were you? And we'll hope to see you maybe recording on Sunday with the other games, talk about some of those, talk more about this game since we'll have more time. Let's try to do that, Dad. But um,
sounds good.
other than that, you can email us your questions at phillyeaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at our Philly Eagles Therapy Podcast, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
Fly, Eagles fly.